It's been fun, little guy. So today is a pretty important day. A day I've been waiting for 4 years now, where DJI comes out with a drone. What I can't resist by getting it. So I just put in an order for the Mavic Air 2S, and I'm so excited. Let's talk about what's so exciting about the Air 2S. Let's hit it. So welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Janaka of Steven and Janaka, and today we're going to be talking about drones, specifically DJI coming out with the Mavic Air 2S. Now, about 4 years ago, I got this little guy, the Mavic Pro OG, and I got it at a great price. It was on a Boxing Day sale, plus 33% off the sale price because I was a manager at a big box retail store at the time. And so I got this guy for $800 Canadian. You can't beat that price. And back then, this was the drone to get. You know, there was no drones out there doing 4K, and this could do 4K 30. I was super excited to get this. And the reason being is when I go on my camping trips, when I go on my woodland adventures, it's great to get that different perspective, you know? And it'd be great to hear from you guys down in the comments. You know, do you own a drone? Have you wanted to get into droning? Do you have a DJI drone? Or are you guys kind of dabbling with the other brands like Parrot and Autel? For me, I've always been a DJI guy. Since I bought this drone, I have never looked back. I absolutely love it. And we'll talk in another video about if the Mavic Pro OG is still worth it in 2021. But coming back to the Mavic Air 2S, you know, since I got the OG, they came out with the Mavic Air, the Mavic 2 Pro, Mavic 2 Zoom, and a couple of minis, and I think that's it. Well, and the Inspires. But, you know, throughout all of those new drones coming out, I never bit. I always loved what I was getting out of the Mavic Pro OG, and those drones just didn't have exactly what I wanted. The Mavic 2 Pro was great, actually, but what was wrong with it for me was that it was too big and it was too pricey. So, like I said, I take these on backcountry camping trips with me, and so what I'm looking for is a smaller form factor. So when I heard that the Mavic Air 2 was coming out, I was really excited. I was excited that they would make a drone that was smaller form factor, lighter, but with a really great camera on it. And the Mavic Air 2, people like the camera. I didn't really like the images that were coming out of it. I just saw the video and the pictures coming out of it, and I didn't really like it, to be honest. It came with a 1/2-inch sensor, and there was kind of some funny math that you had to do to get to 48 megapixels. There was something about buckets and dividing the pixels into 4, and so in a weird way you get to 48 megapixels. But then also, if you wanted to have a higher megapixel shot, you had to sacrifice dynamic range. Or if you wanted more dynamic range, you had to sacrifice resolution. So it just got a little too complicated for my taste. Again, the Mavic OG was just easy to use, great pictures coming out of there. I couldn't justify replacing this guy. But now, 1 year later, DJI comes out with a mic drop of the Mavic Air 2S. And I just had to buy it right away. I think it's time I replace this little guy. It's okay. It's okay. The Mavic Air 2S. What am I excited about? First of all, I'm excited about that 1-inch sensor camera. Now, it's not quite like the Mavic 2 Pro. The Mavic 2 Pro has a Hasselblad camera, and it can change its aperture size. This guy has a focal length of 28 millimeters, and its aperture is fixed at 2.2. I really like the idea of a moving aperture. That's a sacrifice I'm willing to make with the Mavic Air 2S because you can't change its aperture. And on top of that, it's slightly wider at 22 millimeters. It'll be interesting to see if I enjoy that 22 millimeter focal length. I think I will. The whole point is to get wide shots. You know, you can zoom in with its digital zoom, and get a tighter shot that might look a little bit more cinematic. But for me, first and foremost, I need to establish my shots, and I could maybe zoom in post-production. The second thing I'm really excited to see in the Mavic Air 2S is that it shoots in 5.4K. So this guy, when it came out, was making waves because it started shooting in 4K and 4K 30. The Mavic Air 2S can shoot in 5.4K and up to 4K 60, but it needs to be cropped in. Again, not a deal breaker for me, but I will have to do a little dancing around with its with composition. It's a 1-inch sensor on a 20 megapixel camera. So the resolution's just right, you know. People go up to like 40, 50, 60 megapixel cameras. I find the sweet spot is in that 20 megapixel range. So I believe my A6300 is at 24 megapixels. I believe my A7 III is at 24 megapixels. And the new Mavic Air 2S at 20 megapixels, you know, might be just fine. Again, the videos and the pictures that I've seen come out of the Mavic Air 2S has me really excited. The one thing I'm wondering if I'm going to miss or not, or if I'm going to notice when we compare it to the Mavic 2 Pro that Steven has, is 8K hyperlapses. I'm really excited to be able to do hyperlapses in the drone, but apparently it's going to be a 4K hyperlapse. Again, might not be a deal breaker, but it'll be really interesting to see. So one other thing that I didn't mention that I'm really excited about is that the Mavic Air 2S has these things called master shots. And so what you do, from what I've heard, is that you just put the drone up, you choose the subject that you want, and then autonomously it'll do like the greatest hits, like rotating around, shooting from above, boomerang. All of those will be done autonomously. And what's great about that is, you know, I'm all about finding new ways of flying my drone, but if I'm, say, canoeing, or if I'm out in the backcountry, I'd rather just get that out of the way and done quickly. So let me know what you guys think about the new Mavic Air 2S. Does it have you as excited as it has me? Because I'm pretty excited. It'll be coming on April 20th. And as soon as it does, I'll be doing an unboxing for you guys, and we'll do some comparisons. If I still have the OG, we'll compare it to that. We'll compare it to Steven's Mavic 2 Pro, and then who knows? You know, if you guys like what you see and you want to see more, we could do some more testing. Until then, we'll catch you later. Bye.